Hello, my name's Adam, and you are through to South End Guide Paranormal. In this episode you can see the Mr. D route from the air, and we're also going to pay close attention to Billy Jasper himself and whether his version of his events can be relied upon. On the 14th of January 96, Billy Jasper was arrested in relation to an armed robbery and taken to Forest Gate Police Station. Billy informed the police that he was the driver for the murderer responsible for killing Tucker, Tate and Rolfe. When Billy Jasper was arrested, he told the police about how he was paid £5,000 by Jesse Gale for taking someone to Rettendon. The route he took and what Billy claimed happened I have already covered, and you can check that out in the link above now. The person allegedly responsible for the shootings Billy Jasper referred to as Mr. D. Billy Jasper was also able to give names of serious criminal names and organisations behind the triple murder. So I'm just going to read through a brief transcript of the police interview, or as much as we could, because the audio is a bit hard to hear, so I'm going to give you as much as I could get. So the police asked, he was gone for how long? Billy Jasper, about half hour, 40 minutes. What would the time now be? About 1:30ish. When he comes back, what happens then? He's got two holdalls. What's the second holdall look like? Just like a backpack thing. I think that's what he said. Can't remember what it was like, what colour. Police. What did he say? Got back in the motor and said, let's go. How tall was he? Billy Jasper. 6'2". He was stocky, okay. Was he a bodybuilder? Now, much of the rest of that interview was inaudible, but Billy Jasper goes on to mention the surgical gloves, which, as we know, appeared in Darren Nichols' statement. There's also mention of a moustache. I think that's where the police asked whether he had one, and the tracksuit that Mr. D is wearing, and also the white Reebok trainers that Mr. D was wearing. So going on now, discrediting Billy Jasper's story. When driving the police to Rettendon, they actually went straight past Workhouse Lane. However, what you need to remember is that Billy went to Rectory Lane, which is out towards Southwood and Ferries, and it's actually the next exit off the roundabout past the old A130, which is where he would have gone, where Workhouse Lane is situated. So to me it'd be reasonable to assume he would not know Workhouse Lane, because that was not his intended destination. So then I looked at Ivan Dibley and why he didn't pursue Billy Jasper's line more closely, and Ivan Dibley basically dismissed any investigation into Billy Jasper's version of events. Ivan, said that Billy Jasper's statements did not fit with the intelligence Ivan Dibley was privy to, pointing to Mickey Steele in other words. Ivan Dibley also referred to at some point, I cannot remember where I read or heard this, so you'll have to forgive me, but as I said, Ivan Dibley also referred at some point that Billy Jasper had been arrested for other offences several times before him being pulled in for this armed robbery by the constabularies. Ivan Dibley said that he understood Billy to be described by other police as a Walter Mitty type character, in that he liked to exaggerate who he knew and to what extent he was involved with them, along with the offences he'd committed. And it's also worth mentioning that Billy said he didn't hear any gunshots go off that night, Now, in my own personal experience from living in areas such as this, I personally think it's likely he would have heard them. So how much of Billy Jasper's statements can we take as being truthful? So that is the £100 question. And to me, I would say that his description of the route to get to Rectory Lane was accurate. As you know, I followed it myself, and his points, the landmarks he described, were accurate, and also he described going down the lane itself. And the other thing is, when he said that Mr. D had been gone for 30 to 40 odd minutes, now that I've walked that route myself and I took it at a leisurely pace, I would say that is also broadly correct. So, and I'm going to do that route again in the dark. As I pointed out on a previous episode, I looked at that in the day just for visual, but I'm going to do the route again in the dark just to see how it differs. But that's the point. There was accuracies in his statements there. However much else we can take, whoever this Mr. D allegedly is, or anything else that happened, that's out in the open. But for my own personal response on this, the route he described to get to Rectory Lane was accurate, and the times he gave for Mr. D to go do his business and return was also pretty good. So what do you take from that? I personally think Billy did it, I personally think Billy did do the driving. As I say, what goes on past that, that's still open. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that one there. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we're going to look at Darren Nichols next, and hopefully have a more in-depth look at his psychology and also his timeline. So they'll be coming up over the remainder of the year. There's also a couple of other pieces that will be coming, so stay tuned. And yes, they will be here. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.